songbooks, please? Ye Anilo, Prema, Dhana. If you don't have a songbook, you might find it on your mobile phones if you're possessing such a thing. It's a mobile phone. It's not, maybe not addressed as Ye Anilo Prema Dhana, maybe some parsha of Bhagavata if you have something like quite a long title. I'll just get it on my computer now. Any luck finding it anywhere? Anyone has it? It's a song by Narottam Das. It's Parshada Bhagavata Viraha Janita Vilapa. Lamentation due to separation from the Lord and his associates. From one of Narottam Das's many amazing compilations, which he compiled 400 or 500 years ago. From Caitanya, his prayers of devotion. Has anyone found it anywhere? You found it on your mobile? Page number on the mobile? Doesn't work like that, does it, on the mobile? Is there a songbook anywhere with it in? Any songbooks have it in? It's quite a common song. I mean, it should be in the songbook. Is there a songbook anywhere? This is not a songbook. What is it?
This is morning prayers.
It's important to have songbooks. To sing these various songs of our acharyas is really important. Keep on whining away there if you can, it sounds good. We're missing the opportunity to associate with them sometimes. Missing the opportunity to imbibe or understand the mood of devotion. As today is the disappearance day of one of our prominent acharyas, spiritual teachers in our line of spiritual succession. It's good to hear something about him also. And it's good to hear the feelings of, or the relationship. Spiritual life's all about relationship. Material life is also about relationship, although it has a bitter side to it. And as well as a vast, you could say, vacuum in our relationships. Missing the relationship, or our real relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We're denying that, either consciously or unconsciously. And thus we're frustrated in our relationships, even with ourself, because we don't know who our self is, and we're trying to have some kind of relationship with our body and mind. And it's frustrating sometimes. Become depressed and all sorts of things. Because we're missing the real essence of relationship. So this is the mood of, but when we lose the association of somebody in this world who we may find we have some affection for, at least for some time, we have some relationship with, some dependence upon, we often become quite depressed. What have you got there? Have you just one songbook only, is it? There's a whole pile of them. Have you found it? You found them? Okay, so no, I don't need it. Okay. You pass it around. There's songbooks, a few songbooks that have manifested from somewhere. Hidden away somewhere. So, yeah, when we lose the association of someone who's important or whatever in our lives, generally we feel not very good. Some people devastated, some people become lost, some people become overwhelmed, emotional, and stress, anxiety, loss of separation, fear, all kinds of different emotions may be felt accordingly. Intense attachment there. Even for a pet, a cat or a dog, sometimes people feel this because it's the association, it's the relationship which appears to be broken. In the material world, this is a never-ending and unavoidable experience because the nature of the material world is every form that we become attached to is temporary, including our own form. On the spiritual platform, everything is eternal. The forms are eternal, the relationship is eternal. So why should there be any lamentation or any anxiety over this? Well, when we're, let's say, embodied in this material world, the process of becoming realized, or realizing our spiritual nature beyond and above the mental and physical forms, is evoked by the association of those who are beyond the mental and physical identity. And their association is really our only hope in one sense. And that type of association is very rare, but it's most valuable, much far. We can't compare it with any form of material association. Those on the physical platform will not appreciate that, will be able to relate to it. But it's a fact, because the concerns of those who are not of this world, even though they appear to be in it, are only to help awaken every single living entity from their illusory state of consciousness. They're thinking of the welfare of everybody, not just their followers, not just a certain class or section of society, or even the residents of this planet, or human beings, or whatever you call it, but of every living entity, because they understand, they realize, they don't just theoretically understand like we may do, but they realize that every single atom, every single thing that exists is ultimately meant to have a relationship with Krishna. We're like sons who've just gone away and kind of like blocked off our relationship. So these great personalities who come into this world try to remind us of our relationship, not just ourselves, but the whole creation, the relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is their life, why they come into this world, why they appear before us. So when we lose their association, it can intensify, of course, our attachment or our dependence upon them, but the loss of their association is a great, you could say, a great blow, or a great loss in our lives, because it's in their association that we become inspired to chant, to hear, by their association develop the qualities which they manifest, etc. They're a link with Krishna. So this song is one of separation of the feelings, although Narottam himself is one of those eternal associates who come into this world. And how they relish, how they value the association of devotees. It's so relishable. It's not just the, you could say, the elevated aspect of their association, but the relishable aspect also. That's another aspect of association. It's not just about somebody who's helping us, but somebody who we relish their association, nourishing our own devotion. So there's nothing more than the Sangha of devotees. In fact, without the association of devotees, no one can really make advancement on the spiritual path, at least in Krishna consciousness, the essential factor. So we'll sing this song of Narottam. Has everyone got access to it one way or another? You all have access. Along this line here, there's some access there. Ladies who have access. Haribol. Welcome to the devotees from the what a mantra lounge. What is it now? What is the name of our preaching centre in the city?
Bhakti Lounge.
Pardon?
Bhakti
Lounge. I get lost in some places. It's mantra lounge, Bhakti lounge, Go yoga lounge. So welcome everyone from here and there. I'll try to sing. My voice is, I don't know where it is. It's definitely not where it normally is. It's been like this for quite some time, actually. I think 5 or 6 weeks now. Not sure whether it's coming back or not. Let's see. Done. Okay, good. Because they're so much absorbed on the spiritual platform, relishing the mellows of devotion, they feel that there's no point in living without the association of others in a similar spirit. Ye Anilo, Prema Dhana, Karuna Pracho, Ye Anilo. Not so fast. We want everything to be fast in this age, isn't it? Drive fast, eat fast, talk fast. Everything wants speed. We miss it. It's gone before we, the food's already in the belly before we've tasted it practically. Don't focus on the sound, even if we don't know the meaning. Ye Anilo, Prema Dhana, Karuna Pracho. Prema Dhana, Karuna Pracho. Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur. Coming a little too quick on the line there. We're coming in halfway through. Wait a little bit. I'll try to help you if you listen carefully. Kahamora Swarupa Kaha Dhana Kahamora Swarupa Kaha Dasara Gunasa Patita Pava Kaha Dasa Kahamora Patayuga Kaha Kavirata Kahamora Patayuga Kaha Ekakale Kota Gela Kora Natara Ekakale Kota Gela Hashane Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo Hashane Kutibo Koranga Kunera Niri Kota Kele Pamo Koranga Sesaba Sangira Sanghe Ye Koilo Ila Sesaba Sangira Sanghe Ye Koilo Ila Sesanga Napaya Khande Narotama Dasa Sesanga Napaya Kande Narotama Sesanga Napaya Kande Narotama Sesanga Kande Go back to the beginning again. Ye Anilo Prema Dhana Karuna Pracho Ye Anilo Prema Pracho Hena Prabhu Kotakela Acharya Thakur Hena Prabhu Kotakela Thakur Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Anilo, Prema Dhana, Corona Racho, Anilo, Prema Eno Prabhu Kotakila Acharya Thakur Eno Prabhu Kotakila Acharya Oh hey Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Hey Vaishnava Thakur, Shila Narottam Das Thakur Shila, Narottam Das Thakur Shila, Narottam Das Thakur Shila, Narottam Das Thakur, Shila, Narottam Das Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur Shila, Shila Ishvara Puri, Ishvara Puri Shila, Ishvara Puri Shila, Ishvara Puri. Shila Ishvari Puripana, Ishvari Puripana, Ishvara Puripana, Ishvari Puripana. Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Shila Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya, Ashtota Sadishla A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki, Ananta Kota Vaishnavinda ki, Namacharya Shrahadas Thakur ki, Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Caitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Shamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhana ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Mayapur Dham ki, Ganga Maya ki, Yamuna Maya ki, Kumarahat Dham ki, Srila Ishvara Puri Pad Tirubhav Mahamahotsav ki, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Vicharini Nirvasesha Sanyavadi Paschachardesha Tarini. Hare Krishna. Pleased to be back in Wellington again, this far distant corner of the world. As Srila Prabhupada said when he was in Gainesville. Now Gainesville is in Florida in America. I guess people in Gainesville don't feel the same way about it, but Prabhupada said, here we are in this far distant corner, far away from the heart, the home, Mayapur, Sridham Mayapur. But we're not so far away. If we're remembering Gaurnitai, if we're remembering the devotees of the Lord, if we're chanting Hare Krishna, we may not realize it, but we are actually in Mayapur. We may not be able to see with those eyes vision, but this is the effect of Mayapur Dham, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested, appeared in this world, and appeared for several reasons, but from a practical point of view, to spread Sankirtan all over the world, to every town and every village. So, and this is where it starts in Mayapur. So here we are. And Lord Chaitanya has expanded himself here in Wellington to help us to connect with Mayapur Dham, to connect with him, and to connect with the holy name, to have a relationship with him and with the holy name and with each other. Our relationships with the public is also there, maybe in a different way in terms of intimacy or, let's say, what we share and so on. But we try to share Krishna consciousness with everyone, whoever they are, whatever they are, wherever they are. So we're going to read something today to try to help us remember the significance of Ishwara Puri, who not much is said about, maybe said, but not much written about this great acharya in our line, but something is there. I'm just going to read from Caitanya Bhagavata to begin with, but that will include the Caitanya Charitamrita. Jai Jai Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. This is from the Caitanya Bhagavata. There are several biographies of the life of, or the pastimes, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And amongst those, the text, or the literature compiled by Vrindavan Das Thakur is known as Caitanya Bhagavat. And this is especially dealing with the Lord's pastimes in Mayapur before he took sannyas. It is considered, Vrindavan Das is considered to be the Vyasadeva of Chaitanya Lila. And the compiler of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, bows down to him and begs his blessings, forgiveness, etc. And begs his readers to kindly please read this Caitanya Bhagavat. It's the essence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. In fact, I was told, I've never read it, however, I was told a long time ago that Prabhupada was thinking of translating and commenting on Caitanya Bhagavat also. And one time he was thinking of which one to do, but he chose Caitanya Charitamrita. More philosophical understanding there. But in Caitanya Bhagavat, sweet relationships are emphasized between devotees very much so. So now we're reading from this Caitanya Bhagavat Adi Khanda, chapter 9, text 160. Ishvara Puri Brahmananda Puri Adi Jata Sarva Shishya Lena Nityanandevata Ishwara Puri, Brahmananda Puri, and the other disciples of Madhavendra Puri all felt great attachment for Lord Nityananda. This is a follow-on from the meeting of Lord Nityananda with Madhavendra Puri when Lord Nityananda was on his tour of what we now call India, visiting various places, holy places, etc. When Mahaprabhu appeared in this world at that moment, Nityananda left Ekachakragram with an unnamed sannyasi and travelled throughout India for the practically next 12 years, thank you, or thereabouts, some period of time anyway. And only came, well actually it's interesting, it's related to Ishwara Puri. Nityananda then only returned to Bengal, specifically to Mayapur, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested his Sankirtan pastimes. Otherwise Nityananda stayed away and was in Vrindavan for a long time also. So when Nityananda, on his tour near Pandharpur, he met Madhavendra Puri, and this was a very significant event, their meeting, because Nityananda Prabhu accepts, although some say he's initiated by Lakshmi Tirtha, but he accepts Madhavendra Puri as his spiritual master. Of course, he's the source of all spiritual masters, but still, even the Lord accepts a spiritual master in his presence in this world, at least. So he, in Ishwara Puri, was with Madhavendra Puri, as was Brahmananda Puri. They were two sannyas, disciples of Madhavendra Puri, so they also felt great attachment for Lord Nityananda, obviously, because he is Balaram, he's the source of all spiritual masters. He's the ocean of bliss. So there's a commentary here by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj comments on the Caitanya Bhagavata. So kindly listen to the commentary for our own purification. Shri Ishwara Puri was born in a Brahmana family of Kumarahata, near the Halisahara station on the east border railway line, EB railway line. How Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj points this out so that we can, if we want, we can go to visit these places, and he gives a clue how to get there. And was a beloved disciple of Srila Madhavendra Puri. The Caitanya Charitamrita Anchilila describes how Madhavendra Puri, being pleased by Ishwara Puri's service, benedicted him as follows. And I'm going to read this. I hope I can work the system out. Ishwara Puri Gosani Kare Sripada Sevan Pahaste Karena Malamutradi Bhajan. Very interesting here. Oh. This is a section of the Caitanya Charitamrita dealing with the final stages of Madhavendra Puri's presence, manifest presence in this world. And he was behaving past time of being invalid. So at that time, I would like to read the whole section, but I don't know if it's coming up. Okay, let's read this and see what comes up. Ishwara Puri, the spiritual master of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, performed service to Madhavendra Puri, cleaning up his stool and urine with his own hand. Ishvarapuri was always chanting the holy name and pastimes of Lord Krishna for Madhavendra Puri to hear. In this way he helped Madhavendra Puri remember the holy name and pastimes of Lord Krishna at the time of his departure, or death as we call it. Pleased with Ishvarapuri, Madhavendra Puri embraced him and gave him the benediction that he would be a great devotee and lover of Krishna. Thus Ishvarapuri became like an ocean of ecstatic love for Krishna, whereas Ramachandra Puri became a dry speculator and a critic of everyone else. These were two of the disciples, Madhavendra Puri, through whom demonstration, or let's say, lessons can be learned. Whereas Ishvarapuri, although eternal associate of the Lord, great devotee, playing the part of in this world in a line of disciplic succession, of, you could say, a devotee, practicing devotee, you could say. Here we see that he is taking up any menial service to please his spiritual master. Maybe we can meditate on that a little bit, but just by cleaning up the stool and urine, because he was invalid, just like our Srila Prabhupada in his last months, his disciples like Tamal Krishna Maharaj, who was so dear to Srila Prabhupada, were taking on this service of clearing up or cleaning up Srila Prabhupada's whatever. Here it says stool and urine, etc. And doing everything they could to try to comfort his body and remind him, well, not that Prabhupada ever forgets Krishna for a moment, he reminds us, but still constantly chanting the holy name and reading Shastra and so on in Prabhupada's presence. So this is how one gets the special blessings of the spiritual master. Ishvarapuri received the blessings, whereas Ramachandra Puri, in the final days, is another god brother, he had become infected with, you could say, envy in his final days of Madhavendra Puri's presence. And Ramachandra Puri appeared on the scene. At that moment, Madhavendra Puri was lamenting that he had failed to achieve the Lord of his heart. This is how a devotee feels. He always feels, I'm unqualified. I failed to achieve the purpose of life, etc. So he was lamenting, quoting verses from Srimati Radharani and from various Shastric statements. So when this Ramachandra Puri saw that his spiritual master appeared to be lamenting, he said, "Why are you crying at this point of time? You should be remembering Brahman, the impersonal Brahman." He was very critical of devotees, this Ramachandra Puri, so he was lost. Krishna had taken away his devotional understanding, and he became more or less a Mayavadi impersonalist. So he criticized his spiritual master at the time he was leaving. Madhavendra Puri told him, "Get out of here. If I should see your face at the time of leaving this body, I do not know what my fate will be. Go away." He told him to get lost. Whereas Ishvarapuri, he blessed him, as you just heard. Now let's see if I can work this out. Magic. The magic of technology. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita describes this incident. May you obtain the wealth of love of Krishna. Prior to enacting the pastime of initiating Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the 10-syllable mantra at Gaya, Sri Ishvarapuri came to Navadvip and resided at the house of Gopinathacharya for 1 month. Gopinathacharya was the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who lived in Navadvip and was intimately connected and aware of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. At that time, Ishvarapuri had discussions with Advaita Prabhu and Mahaprabhu, in which he recited to them his book. Ishwara Puri written a book called Sri Krishna Lilamrita. You can hear about that also. It's also mentioned in the Adilila, the Caitanya Charitamrita. We won't mention it now. Or maybe, I don't know, time is short. When Sriman Mahaprabhu visited Kumarahata, that's the birthplace of Ishwara Puri, Sripad Ishwara Puri, he took some dirt, some earth from that place, and bound it in his outer garment in order to teach the living entities how to respect one's spiritual master. And this is one of the key features, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaching us how we can get the mercy of Krishna, how we can properly serve the spiritual master. And this is mentioned, it's supposed to be, but it's not. It looks like the reference, and maybe it's the verse before, let me see. Sometimes they have the verse numbers. Nothing to do with it. I don't know why it gives that reference, but it appears to be the wrong reference. Never mind. Anyway, he went there and took the dust of the place of Ishwara Puri's birth. We sometimes go to Vrindavan, Mayapur, or wherever, and do likewise, take the dust of, Jiva Goswami, where his well was, or something, Yogapit, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, like that, different places. And this is very special. The dust of the lotus feet of the devotees, the waters wash their lotus feet, and the remnants of their prasadam are three very powerful substances which can awaken love of God if we associate with them in the right moods, frame of mind, for sure. On that note, we're just to remind everyone, you probably already know that there is now a very wonderful project going on in Calcutta to try to secure the land round about where Srila Prabhupada appeared in this world. We've already, or the devotees there have already secured, I think, about half an acre, coming up to that, maybe a little less than half, maybe a quarter, but a little bit of land at least, the immediate land. But they want to build a memorial, and perhaps a memorial garden, so that devotees from all over the world can go there and take advantage of this great tirtha where Srila Prabhupada appeared in this world. So they want to get a few acres of land around about. So that's an ongoing project. You can find out about it, I guess, online if you want to help. Of course, it involves a lot of money. It's a very expensive suburb of Calcutta. It is now, it wasn't then. It was a simple suburb, but now it's expensive. So, it's very significant. So, Kumarahata, Lord Chaitanya went there, took the earth, and showing us how we can show proper respect like that. Even today, the Gaudiya Vaishnava who visits the place of Sri Ishwara Puri carries some dirt back with him. Sri Madhavendra Puri was the first, this is describing our, let's say, our movement in reality. It's called Sampradaya, the disciplic succession going back to the beginning of the origins of the universe, spiritual origins, material origins. The universe, there were Lord Brahma, who was our original Paramaguru of our line of teaching. Krishna taught him, but he was the first one, and then he taught like that down the line, Narada and Muni and so on, down to Madhavacharya, some 1,000 years more or less ago, and then others followed in Madhavacharya's line, and then also in that line of disciplic succession was Madhavendra Puri. And up to that point, more or less, the practice, the teachings were mostly reverential worship of God. There was nothing very intimate about it. It was the normal, worship of God in his reverential form of Narayan, or maybe Ramchandra, Krishna even, but reverential. So here it says that the first seed the very first seed fructified in the form of Madhavendra Puri. Sri Madhavendra Puri was the first fructified seed of the desire tree of devotional service. When we say desire tree of devotional service, referring to the mood of intimacy, conjugal love for God, ultimately, or other forms of intimate love of God, were basically first manifest, particularly the conjugal manifestation of intimate love of God was manifest in the form of Madhavendra Puri. He was the first. Madhavendra Puri is said to be a kalpavriksha tree, which means a wish-fulfilling tree from whom any form of love of Godhead, if one follows in his path, can be manifested. And Ishvara Puri is the nourishment, like the tree or the seed. Ishvara Puri is the nourisher of that seed, to help that seed grow into a tree. He nourished that. Let's just read that. That's in the Adilila, Caitanya Charitamrita. The seed of devotional service, next fructified in the form of Sri Ishvara Puri, and then the gardener himself, Caitanya Charitamrita. I think it is a book. Caitanya Mahaprabhu became the main trunk of the tree of devotional service. He was a most beloved disciple of Srila Madhavendra Puri. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm going to read this. This is so important. I'm going to read it again. It's come up now. The proper reference has come up. So here we go. Ishvara Puri, the spiritual master Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Oh, wait a minute. We read that already, didn't we? No problem. We read it already. We should go back. And back again. Ishvara Puri, by the grace of his spiritual master, became a great devotee in the ocean of love of God. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states in his Gurvashtakam prayers, Yasya prasada Bhagavat prasado Yasya prasada Nagati katopi. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one is blessed by the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. It is by the mercy of the spiritual master that one becomes perfect. As vividly exemplified here, a Vaishnava is always protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if he appears to be an invalid, this gives a chance to his disciples to serve him. Ishvara Puri pleased his spiritual master by service, and by the blessings of his spiritual master he became such a great personality that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted him as his spiritual master. Sri Ishvara Puri was the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but before initiating Lord Chaitanya he went to Navadvip and lived for a few months. We've just read that. This is interesting. It's a repeat of the Caitanya Bhagavata. To teach others by example how to be a faithful disciple of one's spiritual master, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, visited the birthplace of Ishvara Puri. And we read that too. Wonderful, we'll go back. It's amazing how much we could say. The same mood, the same thread is there in these various biographies. Yes, when Mahaprabhu, he read this one. The two brahmacharis, Govinda and Kashishvar, were disciples of Ishvara Puri. After his disappearance, these two brahmacharis went to Nilachala on his order to serve Mahaprabhu. And he received Nilachal on the order of, he received Mahaprabhu's mercy on the, this is another interesting pastime. Ishwara Puri received Mahaprabhu's mercy on the pretext of giving him mantra initiation in Gaya. So when Ishwara Puri went to Mayapur and stayed there in the house of Gopinath Acharya for some time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at that time Nimai, got the great opportunity to associate with him, Gaura Hari, associated with Ishwara Puri, and was very overwhelmed, ecstatically overwhelmed by Ishwara Puri's presence. And on the guise, Lord Chaitanya will read it now, on the guise of performing Pinda, Lord Chaitanya's father passed away when he was a teenager. So on the guise of going to Gaya, going to Gaya, famous place of the Buddhists, of course, but it's also a famous place of Vaishnavas. Lord Vishnu's temple is very famous there. Lord Chaitanya went there to perform the rites for his father, the Pinda, the Shraddha, for his father, but his real purpose was something else. Thereafter, the Lord went to Gaya. He met with Srila Ishwara Puri. This is, I didn't have time to find, but this is extensively discussed in the Chaitanya Bhagavata. Very amazing description of Lord Chaitanya going there. And maybe we can find it later and read it this evening or something. But it's a beautiful pastime. In Gaya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was initiated by Ishwara Puri, and immediately afterwards he exhibited signs of love of Godhead. He again displayed such symptoms after returning home. Amazing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gaya, this is Prabhupada's purport, accompanied by many of his followers or disciples. He became sick on the way. Lord Chaitanya appeared to be sick. He had such a high fever that he asked his students to bring water that would wash the feet of Brahmins. And when they brought it, the Lord drank it and was cured. Therefore, everyone should respect the position of a Brahmana, as indicated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Neither the Lord nor his followers displayed any disrespect to Brahmins. The followers of the Lord must be prepared to offer respects to Brahmins. But preachers of Lord Chaitanya's cult object if someone presents himself as a Brahmin without having the necessary qualifications. The followers of Lord Chaitanya cannot blindly accept that everyone born in a Brahmin family is a Brahmin. Therefore, one should not indiscriminately follow the Lord's example of showing respect to Brahmins by drinking water that has washed their feet. Gradually, the Brahmin families will become degraded because of the contamination of Kali Yuga. Thereafter, okay, so Lord Chaitanya, we'll have to find that later on. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there to see the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu and to offer various prayers and offerings on behalf of his deceased father. But his real intention was to meet Ishwara Puri. And he fell at the feet of Ishwara Puri. Now there's a beautiful section in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila chapter 7, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Kashi, Varanasi. He was preaching. He went there with the intention, of course, to meet his devotees there, but particularly he went there to teach Sanatana Goswami and to deliver the Mayavadis, headed by Prakashananda Saraswati. And in this conversation with these Mayavadis, who didn't believe in the personal form of God, didn't accept the chanting of the holy name, they were critical. So Lord Chaitanya took on a very special approach in trying to deliver them. He took a very humble role, and he just sat there where they washed their feet. He didn't go into their assembly. He sat in the place, which is considered a bit lowly, to say the least. But they could see that this sannyasi who had taken an initiation, Lord Chaitanya purposely took an initiation in their line, the Bharati line, which is considered Mayavad line. So they accepted him as a sannyasi, but they were not accepting his practices. But they did. They saw that he was sitting there, and he was very effulgent. So Prakashananda begged him, please come and join us. You look like you yourself look like you were Brahman realized. Please come and join us. So Lord Chaitanya in this way came into their association, and they started to discuss very gently, even though their philosophies were opposite, you could say in one sense, in some degree. They very gentle conversation. It wasn't like, tear them down or anything, which we sometimes do now. You can hardly have a sober conversation sometimes. But they're very soberly discussing, why have you, as a sannyasi in our line, why are you not studying the Vedanta? The Vedic literatures, the Vedas, you should be studying this very intently. Why are you behaving like a sentimental person, singing and dancing? This is for the low-class fools. But you're a Brahma, you're a sannyasi. This is not the business of a sannyasi. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accounted or related why, and he said, when I took my initiation from Ishvara Puri, my spiritual master told me I am a fool. Imagine telling the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you're a fool. But that's what Ishvara Puri said for another reason. And Ishvara Puri then said, in this age of Kali, there's no other means. You cannot realize the truth by studying Vedic literatures, and only by Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kevalam. It's the only means in this age. You just chant Hare Krishna. So he gave him his instructions to always chant the holy name of Krishna, always. And from that moment onwards, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu manifested the Sankirtan movement externally. Up to then he was not. He was the late teen actually this time. His late teens. He was married, had been married, and he was now, a different man when he came back to Puri, to Mayapur. He was a changed personality. He was no longer that scholar, wrangling scholar, mischievous Nimai. He was now mad in spreading the holy names. This is the effect of genuine initiation. It awakens within us the spark of love of God. It's already there, we're practicing something. But really speaking, this is the idea injected within the heart that he took. Lord Chaitanya, to show us by example, took this instruction as his absolute life and soul, just like our Srila Prabhupada. Same thing, took the instruction of his spiritual master to, ever you get money, print books, as his life and soul. He took the instruction, preached this Krishna consciousness in the English language as his life and soul. So we take those instructions as our life and soul, meditate on those instructions. It said, after the departure of the spiritual master, one should meditate on his instructions and find out the means to fulfill those instructions, whatever they are. This is the business of a disciple, not just to become depressed or to deviate, whatever, but to meditate on the instructions and live his life to fulfill them, just like our Srila Prabhupada did. In the absence of his spiritual master, for his whole life, he worked his whole life just to fulfill that instruction from his Guru Maharaj. And this is the success. This is how one gets the mercy of our parampara, the mercy of the devotees. It's not even so much about some quantitative achievement, but it's the absorption in trying to fulfill the will of the spiritual master. And this is how we get Krishna's mercy. So Ishvara Puri showed various examples in his interaction, relationships with devotees, how one can achieve that success of life. So I think we'll finish there. Shri Ishvara Puri Pad Ki Jai. Shri Pad Ishvara Puri Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Maharaja, in relation to but both Ishwar Puri and Ramchandra Puri, they were both disciples of the same spiritual master. So lessons from the envy that crept into the heart of Ramchandra Puri. What is sort of some of the take on points for us to save ourselves from the same mentality and the same risk of fall down?
Risk of fall down, I mean, it's quite easy to do so. Ishwar Puri is, of course, we can see many angles, but primarily we've got to be careful of our association. Primarily. We are very fallible. The word fallible in English means able to fall able. Fallible, able to fall. We're fallible, or fallible. So you have to be very careful. We have to associate with the infallible. Those who are not. So how do we do that? Well, we keep the best association we can. We go on Facebook and we hear every single forum which is criticizing devotees as much as possible. And we follow up on it and we tell all kinds of lies and change the story as much as we can so it gets even worse. And this is the way you become infallible. Isn't that a nice engagement? To find faults in Vaishnava, isn't it? It's wonderful, isn't it? Marvelous. Unfortunately, this is only too common in our modern society of social media. And we have this, the problem is, you see, we're already in a dirty state of consciousness, so we have a tendency to be attracted to dirt, like flies are attracted to stool. We have this tendency. So if we want to change that tendency, this is major, major trap. If we want to change this tendency, then what do? We certainly don't do that, that's for sure. We have to associate with those who are glorifying the Vaishnavas. We're seeing the good in Vaishnavas. Of course, practical things have to be dealt with in this world. We have to see a little bit beyond this relative measurement, this relative perspective. We have to associate with those who are beyond the material framework. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj would again and again warn his disciples, pry not into the frailties of others. It's not our business. Look, if we have a tendency for fault finding, he said, look within your own heart. Find your own faults. Maybe it's the way we're seeing it that's the problem, not what we're seeing sometimes, but the way we see it, or the way that mundane society sees it. It may not be the way it is. We can't see from Krishna's perspective. We have to hear from those who can. We don't even understand the scriptures when we read it. We take verses to substantiate or to support our particular, angle, our particular desire, etc. But we don't really understand the real, let's say, context or the purport, what's behind it all sometimes. So it's very important that we keep careful. Lord Caitanya puts his devotees in various difficulties like this to test us, that we don't get carried away by it. Those who are fortunate will pass the test. Those who are fortunate will pass. And one of the aspects is only those who attend the kirtan will be protected. Kirtan. Proper kirtan, not flamboyant, look at me kirtan. Listen to my latest tune kirtan. Look how I play the harmonium kirtan. See how I'm dressed with my fancy hairstyle kirtan. Give me some money kirtan. I'm not going there to that kirtan because so-and-so's at that kirtan. Don't like him. We haven't really captured what kirtan is. But there's something's going on. And Srila Prabhupada is always with us. So our Acharya is always with us. Hear carefully. Careful hearing from the right source. Cleanse our heart of all these dirty tendencies. They're already there. When we associate with those who seem to be enthusiastic about these dirty things, it brings it out within us. It was already there, the tendency is already there. Just brings it out. When we associate with those who are glorifying Krishna and glorifying the devotees, it can bring out that tendency also. So if we want to become infallible, then we have to associate with the Lord through the media of glorification, of positive service, of spreading the Sankirtan movement, etc. We haven't got time to waste on finding faults in others. We have to get on with our business. Chanting, hearing, remembering, etc. There's no scope for this in the limbs of devotional service. I don't think there's one called fault finding. I don't think so. In fact, if you read a Nectar Devotion, what is that verse? One who is free to the propensity to criticize others. We should associate with such persons who are free to this propensity. If we don't find them, then that's because if we're sincere, Krishna will give it. Eventually, at least. We associate by hearing and chanting from Bhagavatam and Caitanya Charitamrita, listening to Prabhupada's lectures, etc. Thinking how I can do something to please Prabhupada. Yeah. Imagine if Prabhupada was there. I mean, we've seen from our acharyas again and again. I mean, so many examples there when sometimes devotees come and criticize, what is this? Don't you find anything good to say? We don't like to speak about the good, we only like to speak about the bad. Some way. And it's generally based on pride or envy. Maybe based on some reasonable reasons sometimes, but pride and envy are also there. Yeah. Putting someone down, putting ourselves up, etc. I know better. I have been offended. I have been this. It's all about me. I. He did this to me. I have no responsibility whatsoever in this. It's entirely that person's fault. We tend to have this I mentality. This me and mine mentality even. Of course, the practical things have to be dealt with, but that's not our inner business. Our inner business is to clean our own hearts. So, association and be careful. Don't just follow the mass, the public mass feeling. To be a little bit thoughtful. And see what Krishna's lesson is here. What is Krishna teaching us now? Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, well, yes. Is that a question?
Thank you, Raj, for class. I was just wondering, as the world situation gets more turbulent.
More?
Turbulent?
Turbulent?
Yeah. For example, New Zealand, like the floods we're having and so many things, so climate change and political unrest, things like that, how to make sure we don't get too absorbed in material problems and keep taking shelter of Krishna.
Wow, that's a goodie. Let me read you something. It's easy, isn't it? Coronavirus was a biggie, wasn't it? Where was that quote? Who sent that to me the other day? I remember now. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is from Prabhupada. Caracas, 1975. It's very easy. I mean, because some awareness is there in our preaching sometimes. We shouldn't be completely blind to what's going on around us. But at the same time, we don't want to be used by it or controlled by it. We may want to use it in Krishna's service, but not that we become absorbed in it and getting into conspiracy theories and all this nonsense. Yeah. It's very easy to get trapped like this. Instead of contemplating what will happen to this world, You have got a short duration of life, say 50, 60 years. You chant Hare Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead. Don't consider what will happen to this world. Nature will take care of it. You don't puzzle your brain with these thoughts. You utilize whatever time you have got in your possession and go back home, back to Godhead. You cannot check it. That means the material world. Best thing is that you mold your life and go back to home, back to Godhead, because people will go on with their rascal civilization. Natural consequences will be there. You better take advantage of whatever time you have got and become fully Krishna conscious and go back to home. That's Prabhupada's little, there are probably many others, that's just one that just came up there. So we haven't got time to waste, have we? It's amazing. Again, it's the same thing. It may not be so severe as fault finding, but it's the same thing. Being trapped by mundane news. And this is a great tendency which I have, many of us have. And thank you for reminding us, warning us of this tendency to get caught up in, analysis of world events. What difference does it make? Who cares less? We're like old men sitting around, Oh, the good old days, these modern politicians are all low. These people today, oh, coronavirus, what's coming next? Oh my God. Have you had your vaccine? Oh yeah, I've had 10 boosters, it's great, I remember a bit of problem with my health, though. I'm not sure what to do. Have another booster, I'm sure that's what the answer is. Or whatever, you go on and on and on, You spend your whole life on this stuff, fighting over this thing and that thing. Veganism is the answer. No, it's not. Who cares? What difference does it make? It makes a difference in one sense, but it doesn't really make a difference. Life goes on in this way and that way. War in Ukraine. So many things. They're inevitable. Bhaktisiddhanta says this world means turmoil and annoyance. That's the meaning of the material world. There's no avoidance. You can't avoid it. It's a matter of how we see it, not even how we try to rearrange it. Everyone's trying to rearrange it. He says no one can rearrange this world, not by the breadth of a hair. Everything is completely controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh, when we see something apparently changing, they are a mere instrument in the hands of Providence. We have no power to change a single grain of rice and one single atom. What we have to change, he says, is our perception of how we see this world and see events of this world, everything in relationship with Krishna. Not that we can change it, but if we just see them as an interaction of individuals behaving in such and such a way, then we get caught in a kind of like another world, practically speaking. Oh, this guy in Russia's doing this and that. He's just an instrument. The devotee sees it a little differently. He doesn't get caught up in all this rights and wrongs, duality of the world. He sees it from another perspective. So it is very easy. It's another trap. Whether it's politics, whether it's world events, whether it's sport, whether it's music, whether it's whatever it is. It's so easy. Especially things we identify with, like when you said just now, for instance, things close to home, the floods here in New Zealand. For someone in Bangladesh, the floods in England they're like, the tap overflowed, in the sink. We make that world news. It's nothing. Peanuts, Flood in Bangladesh means like 50 million acres of land and 100,000 people drowned or whatever it is. It's peanuts over here. For us, it's relatively, whoa, what's going on? Climate change, cyclones. New Zealand's becoming a cyclonic country. You can't do anything about it. What are you going to do about it? You can move to another country. Move further south, go to Stewart Island. And Stewart Island becomes a cyclone country. And we go further south. What's south of Stewart Island? Antarctic. Move to the Antarctic, and the Antarctic becomes tropical. What are you going to do? It's not within our power, you know. Just get on with your business, whatever happens. You can't do much about it. Prabhupada said, even if the war comes, what will we do? Chant Hare Krishna. Simply chant. Do what you have to do, but chant Hare Krishna. When Prabhupada saw the bombs coming down in Calcutta, he said, oh, another form of Krishna. Like a universal form. Nothing you can do about it. You can cry, scream, blame, run, do what you like, but it doesn't change it really. It really change the consciousness of how we perceive things. As long as we see things with me in the center, relative to me, we're in Maya. You have to start seeing things in relationship with Krishna. That's Krishna consciousness. Not just in relation to us, me, this, that. Twin towers come down, with all due respect, but I saw half the devotees, well, God, how is this happening in our country? How is this happening to us? You know, it's like you identify with your own country as if it's important, you know. I thought, my God, in one sense, you could say you got off lightly when the whole place should have come down. All the sinful activities that are going on. I remember I was on Sankirtan in Ashburton a month after the first earthquake in the South Island, 10 years or more ago. Went door to door, books in Ashburton. And I came to this one shop, the alternate shop. Lady took a book, she said. I said, what do you think about the earthquake? She said, they got off very lightly. I said, what do you mean by that? She said, all the nonsense that's going on around here. You know, all the cow slaughter and everything else. So they got off real lightly. I thought, she got it. She's a little bit on the ball there. And we're lucky in that sense. Krishna is very kind to give us a chance. Give us a chance. Don't waste the chance. Great opportunity. Okay, we're finished there. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.